Hello everyone, Luca Blight here, reacting to RWBY Volume 5, Episode 5. I believe it's called The Necessary Sacrifice. Yeah, that's what it's called. So with that said, Necessary Sacrifice, death flags up high for Gira and Kali and for Ilya. I don't think anyone's gonna die this episode, but I think something's gonna go down. This is gonna lead up to it. Like they're setting up something. So we'll see what. I mean, it could be referring to something else entirely. It may not even be in reference to Gira, Kali, Blake, and all of them. So, Jesus. Sorry, my throat's been dry. I've got a mild headache, and this last week has just been brutal. Basically, like a bunch of info dump. Because there's a lot of things I'm going through right now. Life-changing type things, which I'm anxious over because if everything goes as planned, it will be perfect. But if one thing goes wrong, the whole entire shebang falls apart. So, anxiety afloat. So last episode we had Raven and Yang. You know, they're much desired encounter. I'm trying to think of like the word. Much anticipated. Much anticipation. Such excitement. God, I'm tripping over my words already. No, I don't. You got a message on your phone. No, piss off. Microsoft or Cortana or whatever the hell you are. Anyways, as I was so really interrupted by my own laptop. At least this time it wasn't a Microsoft like, hey, you might be eligible to get Microsoft Word. I already got Microsoft Word. I don't need it. Anyways, so yeah, Raven and Yang had their whole back and forth. We had a reunion of Weiss and Yang, which they didn't really interact much when they were together. Like, they didn't have too many one-on-one situations. So I'm curious if we'll have Blake and RWBY reunite, and then we'll have the team proper reunite, but that remains to be seen. Speculation from here and there. We also got a bit more of Ranger and Oscar / Ozpin training together. And it seemed like they kind of sort of, I don't want to necessarily say retconned Aura and Semblance, but they added more to it. Because we haven't really gotten much about Aura and Semblance since like Volume 1 in terms of characters talking about it. I mean, of course, we were shown Ren's Semblance in Volume 4 and whatnot. And they brought up in this volume that John hasn't unlocked his, so I think that's going to be his main goal here. So I'm expecting we'll get it probably by the end of the volume. There'll probably be like some big fight going on, and it'll just seemingly unlock itself when John's, just pushed to that edge. Because I see him going down the similar route as Gohan, where he has this hidden potential to be great. He just hasn't quite reached it yet. And through his experiences fighting, suffering losses and stuff like that, he will become the hero that he wants to be. So, without further ado, and provided my Bandicam is definitely working. I'm eyeing the fuck out of that bar because it wasn't working earlier when I was talking, and I felt annoyed because I was like, I just want to get the opening bits out of the way just so we can get to the episode because I'm anxious. Anyways, without further ado, and before we start, if you have not watched the episode yet on Rooster Teeth's website or their channel, watch that there first before you watch here. They need the views more than I do. I do this for fun. They do it because it's part of their job. That's how they make their money. So go support Rooster Teeth and the creators, or not the creators, the voice actors, the editors, the writers, etc. Except Luna. Fuck Luna. I'm just joking. Nothing against Luna personally. I don't particularly like his way of writing. Just my opinion. If you disagree, that's fine too. Carrie, on the other hand, I might be mixing the two up. I'm trying to remember which one it is. I think it's Carrie that Carrie's the one that I like. Oh, and saying that, Luna's not terrible. He's gotten a lot better.
Ready?
He's gotten a lot better.
Monsters and robots more than once. I think I can handle getting a few signatures.
To be fair, I think finding robots to be easier than getting signatures. But it depends on what kind of crowd you're trying to appeal to. These don't seem like the people that want to be fighting.
Your chieftain needs you. Your people need you. Please, join the fight and help us save Haven Academy.
Oh, come on, Blake. You can do better than that. You got to put some vim, some vigor in there. Say it with gusto. Really win them over.
We'd love to have someone with your skills on our side.
Mata. Get back inside.
Mom.
Yeah, get away before the shippers get to you. Oh, too late. We've already seen your face. Yeah, these people just seem so disinterested in fighting. I get the feeling they just want to live like a peaceful life. Like, they agree that what happened to Beacon was terrible and that the White Fang should be, brought down a peg, but it's like, we're not the ones that are going to be the ones to do it. Oh, fish funness. Look, Vegeta, mer people. I used to be so good at the Nappa impression. Now I just suck at it. So that begs the question, do they have gills or do they have lungs? Or both? Questions for later. Actually, I think they can only have one animal trait.
Get it? How can they just sit around and do nothing with the White Fang getting ready to attack?
Because not everyone is like you and me. The
True.
faunus here in Menagerie, the ones that weren't born on the island, moved here because they were tired of fighting.
Makes
of
sense.
having to struggle constantly.
Mm-hmm.
Menagerie is filled with people that just want to be left alone.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was
Here
saying.
we are asking them to put the rest of the world before themselves.
I don't blame them. I mean,
really
they...
thought about it like that.
Yeah.
The problem is, whatever happens at Haven is going to affect them whether they like it or not. If Adam gets his way and Haven falls, it's only going to make things worse for the faunus. Everywhere.
You're not wrong, but...
He's the guy you used to work with?
that's one way to put it.
Yes.
Sorry. Forget I brought it up.
No, it's okay.
You're not in the friend zone yet, son.
Have you ever met someone and thought to yourself, they are the personification of this word? Okay, well, I remember getting to know Ruby and thinking, this girl is the embodiment of purity. After a while, I saw Weiss was defiance, and Yang was strength.
Fair assessments all around.
Jury's still out on that one.
No,
But I'm leaning towards Ernest.
Ernest. Really? Nope, Black Sun Shipper's going
I
crazy.
thought Adam was justice. Then I thought he was passion. But over time, I realized I was wrong. He wasn't any of those things.
He's
He was
basically
strong.
Anakin Skywalker.
Not hatred, not rage, spite. He won't accept equality, only suffering for what he feels the world did to him. And his way of thinking is dangerously contagious.
That is
That's what
true.
worries me about Ilya. She's not like Adam, not yet at least.
But she could go down that same
But I
path.
don't know how long that will last.
Yeah.
She was your friend, huh?
She was. Her chameleon traits meant she could pass as human. She could have lived a normal life if she wanted. But she didn't. I always admired that. She lost her family in a mining accident when she was young.
Okay, so she wasn't making that up.
Like me, she was more or less trained on the road alongside other faunus.
'Cause I thought she might have been
To
making that up.
survive, to defend herself. But as people like Sienna and Adam started to gain a following, she became more dangerous. I guess I did too.
Yeah, but you changed for the better, so there's that.
My parents tried to get me to leave with them, but I refused. I had Adam and Ilya, after all.
You know we're going to have to face her eventually.
I know.
So, what are you gonna do?
I'm going to try and help her the way you helped me.
Hmm?
You showed me that sometimes you need to be there for a friend, even when they don't want you to be. I was drowning in guilt and fear. I tried to push you away, but you didn't give up on me. And I can't give up on Ilya. It's about time I saved my friends for once.
It only took 5 volumes to get this far. Damn. Not a diss on Plague, it's just saying. Jesus. That was rage-induced.
Better, huh?
At yelling?
Are you hungry? It's almost dinner time.
We made pancakes.
Yeah, that sounds good. I was about to call it a night anyway.
So, you've never fought before?
Just the occasional small grim.
Oh, so he's fought Grim before. Okay.
Wow, you look like a natural.
It's strange. I've only had this cane for a few weeks, but I feel like I've had it for a lifetime,
That's that muscle memory kicking in from
even.
Ospen.
I sound like a crazy person.
Just
I
a
mean,
little bit.
yeah, just a little.
I think they're all crazy,
But
though.
at this pace, you'll be combat ready in no time.
Right in the feels.
Well,
Oh.
I'll see you upstairs.
How do you handle all of this?
What do you mean?
I'm scared.
I would be too,
Scared than
dude.
I've ever been in my life.
I don't blame you.
never thought was possible. I always knew that I wanted to be more than a farmhand, but this? Who would ask for this?
I don't think anyone would. But that's kind of what makes you the worthy candidate, because you don't desire the power. Yeah, I don't blame Oscar. I mean, he's, what, 14? Doesn't know what the hell he's getting himself into.
We all went to Beacon because we wanted to help people. But you're right. None of us asked for this either. We just have to press on and
How
hope.
can you be so confident? People have tried to kill you. The world's about to go to war all over again. How are you okay with any of this?
She isn't. That upper's is out of nowhere. In a way, he reminds me of Jean from, like, Volume 1.
I lost 2 of my friends,
Yeah.
Penny Polandina and Pira Nikos. I didn't know them for very long, but that doesn't change the fact that they were 2 of the most kind-hearted people I'd ever met. But that didn't save them. Pira thought that if there was even the smallest chance of helping someone, that it was a chance worth taking. And because of that, she died fighting a battle she knew she couldn't win.
Oh, wow, we're actually getting depth from Ruby. Holy
And
shit.
Penny
The character, not the show.
survived, just to make a statement.
Oh, that's kind of fucked up. She's completely right. Damn.
I am scared.
I mean,
Not just for me.
I realized that
Everything
before, but
shows that Salem doesn't care if you're standing against her or not. She'll kill anybody. And that scares me most of all. Pira, Penny, I'd be lying if I said that it didn't hurt. That I didn't think about them every day since I lost them. That I didn't wish I had spent more time with them. If it had been me instead, I know they would have kept fighting too. No matter how dangerous it was.
I'm not crying, you're
So
crying.
That's what I choose to do. To keep moving forward.
No, Monty reference. That was a good scene.
Come on. If we don't hurry, Nora's gonna eat everything.
Including the table and the
Wouldn't be
chairs.
First time.
That would be the first time.
Hey, Oscar. This isn't gonna be easy. But the fact that you're even trying says a lot about you. You're braver than you think.
Yeah, that was a surprisingly good good scene for
She
Ruby.
really is remarkable, isn't she?
Yeah. She must have been one of the best huntresses at Beacon, huh?
In some ways, yes. But in many others, no.
No.
She has her quirks, her faults, just like everyone else. But she also possesses something unquantifiable, a spark that can inspire others even in the darkest of times.
This must
Okay.
be really hard on her, too.
It's hard on everybody.
It most assuredly is.
I would argue that Blake or Yang are better than her, though, in terms of, like, 1v1s.
Your thoughts?
Uh-oh.
Are of no significance.
Ball sack and fiddlestick.
If this is how High Leader Taurus wishes to proceed, then we shall make it so.
Of course, brother. Still.
Come in.
Ilya?
Sister Ilya,
Yep.
thank you for meeting with us.
How may I be of assistance?
Please, stand. We have wonderful news.
What is it?
We finally received a message from the Mistral Brotherhood. The operation was a success.
Operation?
Taurus has claimed his place as the High Leader of the White Fang.
Ah, shit. She was in on it. God damn it.
Sienna?
Buried with honor. The
Honor.
other branches of the Fang have been given the story that was agreed upon.
A necessary sacrifice.
Okay.
I won't forget everything she did for us.
Indeed.
Your maturity and understanding in regards to this matter is appreciated, and it is why we've summoned you here this evening.
Oh, great. What
The
now?
White Fang is experiencing a transitional period.
Growth requires change.
And change can be painful.
If it's for the betterment of the Faunus, then it's a pain we can endure. What's our next mission?
Containment. With the CCT towers still inoperable, we have the luxury of control over the flow of information.
News of Adam's ascension has yet to reach Menagerie, but when it does, the citizens of Kuokawana will undoubtedly react poorly now that the chieftain has spoken out against us.
Yeah.
It's my fault the Belladonnas had any ground to stand on.
Do not concern yourself with past failures, Ilya. Focus on the future. We have an opportunity for redemption.
What do you need me to do?
The Belladonnas are the only remaining threat to Adam's assault on Haven Academy.
Ah, shit.
And so, they must be silenced.
Oh, fucking hell.
Silenced?
Like Sienna, they stand in the way of true progress for our people.
We would never put such a burden on you alone, of course. Your brothers and sisters will be at your side. But your relationship with their daughter makes you an integral part of this operation.
Blake?
We know how close you were with young Blake. Rest assured, High Leader Taurus has requested she be taken alive, but we cannot risk having her present to defend her family.
But
Oh,
the people
shit.
of Menagerie.
We'll come to understand what happens to those who speak out against.
Fuck these guys.
And we'll be left without a leader until our victory is complete.
Fuck these guys.
A necessary sacrifice, Sister Ilya.
So it's referring to... God, man, fuck these guys. Fuck. Ilya's good. I get the feeling Ilya's not going to go through with it. She's going to do something... Fuck, I don't know.
About the citizens. It's possible they may come to see Gira as a martyr.
It is a risk we must take for our High Leader.
Actually, yeah, that's a point, though.
I will not allow them to ruin this.
Oh, shut up, you
Belladonna
bitch.
name has brought me nothing but grief.
Oh, wow, he really is Anakin. Oh, God.
You've done well in finding the deserter. Bring her to me alive. But not before you've slaughtered her family.
Jeez Louise, dude, you
I have a promise to keep.
have such a hate boner, dude. It's ridiculous.
He seems unwell.
No
He
shit.
carries with him a tremendous burden.
Are we sure he is the one to lead us?
For now,
For now.
we must do what is best for the Faunus.
Oh, alright, I have questions now. I have questions about these two.
Brother Yuma,
Yuma.
did you see Tagira's messenger?
Holy shit, it's Batman.
He rests beneath the waves, along with his warning.
Well, shit.
Then all is well.
Okay, so we got a Bat Faunus now. I'd like to call him Batman. Okay. Well, alright, so, before that thought escapes me, Corsac and Finnick are now, as much as I fucking hate them, I hate their guts, but they are, 100% more interesting now. Because he said for now, as in, yeah, we'll stick with Adam for now. So I'm wondering if these guys are what I consider agents of controlled chaos. And what I mean by controlled chaos, even though that's kind of a catch-22 phrase, is that they allow a certain amount of chaos to occur, but they control how much of it happens. So what I'm saying by that is that with Gira, obviously they weren't going to get much done. So they had him, they worked it out to where he stepped down and Sienna took over, because Sienna was more violent, or was more willing to use violence to get the job done. But not enough to where they really wanted it. Or maybe she was good for that particular time, but as things progressed forward and Salem got involved in all that, they're like, oh, okay, so we could just totally cast, caution to the wind and put our most militant individual forward. So I'm even wondering if they've been filling Adam's head with these kind of violent thoughts, if they're indoctrinating Faunus into believing a certain way, almost like a religion. And so that also leads me to wonder if they are the true leaders of the White Fang, except they lead from spot number 2 or from behind the scenes. I don't want to necessarily say the Illuminati, because that would be a little cheesy, but something along those lines. I'm wondering if they're related in some way, like, because they have that picture of that that fox faunus or what have you, and I'm wondering if that's like their father or their master, if he was the original founder of the White Fang, and instead of them taking over, they let somebody else take over. In this case, it was Gira, then Sienna, now Adam. So they're sticking with Adam until his usefulness runs out, and then they find a new leader. It's almost, not almost, but it's very similar to in the Dead Space, which RIP that series because EA fucking gutted it. What's the name of that damn religion? Unitology, which is kind of a play on Scientology, but that's neither here nor there. But the way that religion was founded was they discovered the black marker, and the guy that discovered it was, I believe, assassinated, but turned into a martyr, and then they built a religion around this dude. So I get the feeling that's kind of how the White Fang sort of operates. Like they get these leaders that lead them a certain way, and then they martyr them and say, "Oh, this leader was great, and it's a shame they died," and all that other good stuff. So yeah, that's geez, oof. And here's the crackpot theory, but there were 6 chairs in Salem's meeting room, and there's 2 of them, and we have 2 chairs that are still empty. Doubtful, given that if Salem already had them in her pocket, why did she go through the trouble of having Hazel to go to Sienna Khan and all that other jazz? But again, crackpot theory. It's probably not going to be what the case is. And then I'm assuming I forgot his name already if they even said it, but the Batman Faunus. I'm just going to call him Batman Faunus. I'm guessing he's going to have a role to play in the assassinations of Gira and Kali. And yeah, if Ilya doesn't get the job done, I can see it maybe being him. Otherwise, why would we establish this new antagonist? And he reminds me a little bit of Kai Ling from Mass Effect. If, Corsac and Finnick were the elusive man. But, yeah, so I get the feeling he's going to be something of a major antagonist. Probably along the lines, at least based on the way he talked, like that kind of calm, collected kind of way, maybe similar to Hazel, or maybe he just doesn't get enjoyment out of violence, but he'll employ it, by any means, or he'll employ any means necessary, but he doesn't, get off on it like, Tyrion or, I guess in some cases, Cinder does. Well, Cinder's more of just, I want power over people, and Tyrion's just, I want to kill people because lulz and shits and giggles and hail Salem. All right, but yeah, that was definitely the meat and potatoes of this episode. That last 2 or 3 minutes or however long that scene is with Ilya and them. So now episode 6 is kind of lingering as, are we going to get Raven and Yang, or are we going to get more of this? But yeah, actually the menagerie story is, in my opinion, the most interesting one going on right now. Because of the intrigue and the scheming, the politics, the plotting. Like I said, plotting twice. Plotting and scheming are the same thing, so say. I mean, the Raven and Yang thing, it's interesting, but it's not really thought-inducing. It's more of, I don't know how I would describe it. It's emotionally satisfying, but not intellectually satisfying. Not to say it's dumb, it's just, you get more emotional with it. Whereas with the menagerie type stuff, it's more of like, man, where the hell are they going with this? Like, what is going to happen? Who's going to die? Death flags for everybody. And let's see, what else? Oh, yeah, we had the Ruby Oscar moment, which that was a really good, I mean, it was simple, and it touched on a lot of, how Ruby and Oscar are kind of in similar situations, although Ruby's got the experience and all that stuff, and she willingly went into this whole thing, although she didn't think it would be, as crazy as it was. She didn't think there would be, people actually trying to, oust the kingdoms and take down the huntsmen, take down the academies and stuff like that. So it was a bit more than she signed up for, but she pressed forward. Say what you will about her character, she has still pressed forward. She's still kept a move on. I'm not the biggest fan of the character myself, but I did appreciate this scene, and I did appreciate how Oscar isn't just like the Mary Sue that people were, not people in general, but some people were saying that he was going down that route, which I don't see him as a Mary Sue at all. I see Ruby as more of a Mary Sue. But she's definitely gone out of that phase, I feel, for the most part. If you want to disagree with me, by all means, disagree with me. But yeah, this scene, we actually got some depth from her, some actual character growth, which isn't something I have against the voice actors or against the character herself, but against the writers. Because it's your main character. She needs to have some kind of growth, which she has now shown. She's more mature, she's less naive, she's more realistic with herself. And, yeah, we did get that in Volume 4 at the end there, where she kind of wrote that note to Yang, saying that, I used to think like this, but now, reality's kind of set in. It's like, it's not all, sunshine and rainbows as I wanted it to be. It's not just us humans versus the monsters. There's a lot of other things going on in the world. And so Oscar, he's been put into that uncomfortable situation where he just doesn't know what's what. But, he's got Crow, he's got Ranger there to help him out, and they're going to help him out just as they help each other out. They're, one team, one fight. That was a weird hand gesture, but you know what I mean. And then we also got a bit of Blake and Son, which again, simple stuff, but it really showed that Blake has come a long way since, volumes 1 through 4. She's actually like, you know what, I'm done running. I'm done with that stuff. You being Son was here for me. Even when I tried to put you away, you said, no, I'm not leaving you. I'm sticking by you because I know that you need me, even though you don't realize it yet, which she does realize it now. Yeah, I will say that their attempts at recruiting was kind of lackluster and weak, but to be fair, I don't think they really know how to do it. It's not like it's something that they're good at, because Blake isn't known for her, her speeches. She's known for, what is Blake really? She's more of like the one-off character, the loner type. She's got a lot more in common with me, even though I don't consider her one of my favorite characters. But she's kind of like, hey, I just want to be away from people. I don't really like being around people. Although she's kind of, more of like, I realize I need to be around people, which it's different in reality. It really is. But yeah, it was also reminiscent of their conversation in Volume 1, at least in terms of the situation where Blake and Son are, they're having that connecting moment where Son's kind of pulling her into the light, and she's now realizing, instead of, in Volume 1, it was like, oh, you're trying to pull me into the light. This time it's, you pulled me into the light. I've finally found a path I can go down and feel satisfied with myself and feel like I'm actually doing something to better the world as a whole, not just myself. So I really like that whole tidbit. So a quiet episode. I don't need action for the sake of action. I'd rather have action with meaning behind it. That's usually the best kind of action. Because if we just get fights for the sake of having fights, it's like, well, what's the point? You keep them far and few in between, but you make them really good, really lengthy. Or not really lengthy, but you add some not complexity, but some depth to it. Like with Volume 4, people said there weren't as many fights, but each fight had a reason for existing. Even the Geist one, it showed that Ranger can work well together. In the case of Tyrion, there's a big threat out there. In the case of the Knuckleave, while they did hit the point, they didn't hit it as hard as they could have with overcoming, your past trauma, your past guilt, which is what the whole volume was about, was overcoming the trauma and the pain and moving forward and living. And that's kind of where Ren sort of took the front row seat and Ruby took a back seat. But I think I mentioned it before that I was like, I don't mind that. I mean, she doesn't have to be at the forefront of every plot line. We can make it more about the other characters. That's all well and good. But the overarching story needs to be more about Ruby. But if we have each individual, like, sections of a volume about a specific character besides Ruby, hey, that's great. Wow, I actually talked a lot. Anyways, I need to get some water because my throat's dry as shit. Alrighty, folks, so let me know what you thought down below. I enjoyed this episode. I've been enjoying this volume. It's very plot heavy, and it needed this. Especially if they're going to be doing the whole multiple storyline thing. They need to be more plot-driven, more story-driven. But anyway, folks, I've been Lookup Light, and this has been me reacting to RWBY Volume 5, Chapter 5. And I shall see you all for whatever video I upload next.